This podcast episode is sponsored by River Rat Rafts. Looking for a quality, affordable inflatable boat this season? Then look at River Rat Rafts. It's no surprise that River Rat is known for their stronger build, better frame, and quick setup, as well as portability. See for yourself at riverratfishing.com. That's riverratfishing.com. Try the difference with River Rat Rafts. Welcome to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Keenan. This is Season 3 of the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast. In this episode, we aim to bring you the biggest and best stories from those who work and make our fly fishing industry truly great. The Fly Fishing Insider Podcast dives deep into the past, present, and future of all our guests, uncovering their amazing stories and journey. Join us each week as we interview a new podcast guest. Also, if you're new to the show or not yet a subscriber, make sure you hit subscribe after this episode. Welcome to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast. Today's guest, David Chabot from Timber and Fins. David, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Fellow Canadian, right? So I'm West Coast, you're East Coast.
Yeah.
Totally excited. How's it going out there? How are you guys surviving?
Good. I'm actually based in Montreal, so right now it's a little bit tricky. We're in the full shutdown with, I know this is going to air a bit later, but we actually have a curfew now over here, so it's a little bit tricky, but, trucking along.
As long as are you guys staying safe? You and your family are staying safe? Everyone's good?
Yeah, everyone is good, and I'm the only one at the office right now, so it's all good.
Good to hear, my friends. Stay safe, that's for sure. So we will get through this, as will the world. So David, you know what, Timber and Fins, I love it. I love what you guys are doing. We've been following each other on social media forever, and I had to wait to a certain point. I was like, okay, let's make sure that this guy's going to survive. Not only have you survived, you're crushing it in the brand, in the business. So I want to talk all about that. But before we do, as always, I ask my guests a bit about how they got into to fly fishing and what got them. You know, where'd you catch the bug, and then how did that translate into what we're doing now? So walk us through that.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, fishing was always part of my life, just as a kid, fishing and all that, but it was definitely more of a casual hobby, I like to call it. And I was in a totally different industry. I was a lighting designer for 15 years. And then 5 years ago, I was lucky enough that my father-in-law bought me my first fly rod and actually showed me how to tie a few flies, and the next day we went and caught my first brook trout, and let me tell you, it started something I wasn't expecting, and it became a real passion. So that's when I started making things. So I started with flies and rods and fly boxes that I was just making for myself and my family, but then started sharing on Instagram and realized, there was some interest, and also realized maybe it could become something bigger. So now we've actually been in business for 2 years, and we have a variety of products. From we started with just the fly boxes, but now we have fly wallets, reel cases, fly tying mats, fly gauges. We have a bunch of stuff, and we started also some apparel this year. So that's kind of where we're at. We strive to make products that are durable, eco-friendly, and that are pleasing to the eyes. So most of our products are made of wood, leather, and also we use a product called Amadou. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, but I know you're going to tell me later on in the show.
Yeah. So anyways, maybe we can talk about that later, but we don't use plastic and foams in our fly books and things like that. We use that Amadou product. And we're a pretty small team still. It's just me. I make all the products, and my wife, who helps with all the communication and managing the company as a whole. And we have Reed Couture, who joined our team about a year ago, who's helping with social media and advertising, but also running the apparel side of our company. So that's where we're at now. And yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to jump all into that. A ton of topics and conversation there. Something kind of struck me, and when you said you were from Montreal, and I didn't put two and two together. Montreal's a big city. It's a dense population, and you just have the St. Lawrence there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm ignorant on it, I'm sorry. Canadian. You just have the St. Lawrence. Like, what's the brook trout fishing like? Are you fishing for brookies out there? Yeah. I want to know that. I think the listeners do as well.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I wasn't fishing around Montreal much. My family-in-law is all in New Brunswick, so most of my brook trout I've caught over there. But around here, there's a few rivers up just an hour and a half from Montreal, or even closer than that hold trout, both on the north side and the south side of the city. So I've been exploring those lately. But yeah, most of my brook trout fishing has actually been done in New Brunswick.
And, for those that don't know, like the brook trout, those eastern brookies, like,
oh my God.
Yeah, just tell us about them. Let's tease everybody. It's winter.
I mean, they are beautiful. We're not talking about 24-inch char from up north, but God, there are beautiful little brookies, and there's a few spots I've been lucky enough to go to in New Brunswick where they are golden. I mean, I've never seen any colors like that. So they're just a beautiful, beautiful fish, and it's hard to not go back once you get one in your hand. So yeah, it's kind of magical over there, and there's still a lot of places. I mean, most of the rivers I fish over there, I don't even know the name of because we call them, Stillwater South. Just they have all these names that are not actually the names of the rivers, and you never see anybody there. So that's my favorite part about fishing. I don't need to be on a big river with a bunch of other guys trying to catch the big fish. I prefer being on a small river. Yeah. And catching beautiful little guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And those brook trout, like I said, amazing. So well said. So you started the brand 2 years ago, and you started off making some fly boxes, and that's kind of what I noticed as well. So I guess that's the timber aspect of the brand. So walk me through it. How? Why? Like, was the fly box for yourself? Was it for friends, like you mentioned? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when I started making flies and things like that, I was starting to look at fly boxes, and I wasn't quite happy with what I was finding because everything is plastic, and I mean, there's foam, there's silicone, but it's all not very natural stuff. So I was kind of looking for something different, and I just made some cedar fly boxes for myself and my family there. And that was actually for Christmas 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago. And then from there is when, people started asking for them. So I just sold a few to friends here and there, or people I was meeting on Instagram. It started from there, and then I started also making nets and other wood products, and eventually started working with leather, which has opened up a whole new realm of products, which is super exciting. So like I was saying earlier, we have a lot of fly wallets. We have different types of fly wallet. We have bigger ones, smaller ones. Some of them come with notebooks. So it's an exciting side of the company that I'm excited to grow with next couple of years.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're excited for you as well. So you mentioned nets. You made nets. Do you still currently make nets?
Yeah, I still make nets. I have two models. I have a trout net and then steelhead / small salmon net, I would call it.
For Atlantics, or I got to cut you off. You got a small net for Atlantic salmon? Is that what you said?
I mean, I would say that it's a small net for salmon, but it could work for salmon, but it's more for steelhead. And the other one is a trout net. Nice. So it's the two sides that I have, but I don't make a lot of them. So, in a year, last year I made maybe 10 of them. So it's very limited runs of nets. So they're sold out a lot on the site. They just come up once in a while. So you kind of have to keep your eye out.
So what is Timber Fins like? What do you like? What would you say your specialty product is? Every brand has a specialty feature or specialty product, because you guys are well diversified, both in the leather and the wood grain stuff, in the function of both those items. Like, what would you say is your focus of the brand?
Yeah, I mean, there's I think two different focus for me. There's the fly tying aspect of it. So we have fly tying gauges and fly tying mats, and the people that indulge in nice quality fly wallets are usually people that or indulge in beautiful flies or tie them themselves. So there's that whole aspect of our brand, which is focused more on the fly tying, and then the other side of the brand, which is focused on fly fishing in general. So these are kind of the two sides that we're trying to reach. Yeah,
absolutely. when you mentioned it, it's kind of cool because you did mention that is the people that focus on the quality of flies. They're going to look at the quality of your leather mats and the quality of your wallets, right? Now, walk me through that? Like, what makes your wallets and your mats like so fantastic? What is the grain? Where'd you get the grain? Where do you get the leathers from? And more importantly, before you even answer that question, like, how did you journey into becoming a leathersmith?
Right. So I mentioned earlier I come from a design background, so I've touched a lot of things. Just building different theater sets and building a lot of things in my life. So I've become used to working with my hands, and leather was a new thing I didn't know about, but fell into it pretty deep as well. When it comes to the actual product itself, if we talk about the leather that we use, all the leather that we use is veg tan leather, which means that when the cowhide is tan, instead of using toxic products and stuff like that, it's actually bark and different natural products that they put in there to tan the leather. Mm-hmm. And all the stain is made in-house as well with water stains and things like that. So again, we try to stay away from toxic stuff. And the grain of leather, like the leather that we use, depending on the products that we have, for example, the leather mat are 7-8 ounces. So it's a very thick leather. So that thing, is going to live forever. So we're trying to make products that you can pass down to your kids kind of thing,
That's cool. No, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And you guys aren't tanning the leather yourselves, are you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. No, we can't do it all.
I mean, I'm sure if you could, you would. I get it. No, that's just funny. I wanted to see if you guys were doing that. So where's the leather coming from? Is it Canadian leather, or is it,
it's not Canadian leather. We work with different, with a company here to buy it, but it's actually imported from different countries. So some of it comes from Brazil. Yeah. I think it's mostly from Brazil, and then some from overseas.
Okay.
It's been a little bit tricky with COVID and everything. I had to actually change supplier in the middle of it because some people were shutting down. So I found a few places, but we're still in the midst of finding our the right people to trade with. So it's been one of the challenges of COVID so far.
Just one of them. Just
just one of them for sure.
One of the many. So really cool, really cool stuff. And I mean, your product is super beautiful. What leather products you mentioned? A real case. Tell us what products you have that you're currently doing out of leather.
Yeah, so I'll just talk about the real cases there for a second. We have right now on the site, we have kind of 2 different sizes, but we can make them to fit any reel that you have. So if you have a specific reel, a specific model, you can just send us a measurement and we'll just make it to fit perfectly to your reel. And then for the fly wallets I mentioned, we have different models. So we have our Explorer wallet, which has 2 panels of shearling in there, and also has a pocket in there. Our second model is the Wanderer, which has it's kind of cool. It has a notepad in there that's waterproof, so you can take some notes on the water while you're over there, or do some little sketches. We also have a tool wallet, so for tying tools. And maybe this is for later, talking about the future, but we might have some tying tools in the works that will come in the new year. So that's one of the new products we're looking at. And then for our tying mats, just to maybe explain what they are, they're just a mat that you can put under your vise to collect all your material. But our mats actually have gauges on them, so you have wet hackle gauges, dry hackle gauges. You have gauges for all your tails and your wings and all that are actually engraved on the leather, so you can use it as an actual tool, not just as a mat to throw away your leftover after kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then apart from that, we make dry patches. So earlier I talked about this product called Amadou.
Yeah.
And this is where this comes in. So Amadou is a product made from a mushroom called Fomes fomentarius, which is a mushroom that grows around here. We call it like hoof mushroom. If you look around Birch Tree, you might see them. They just look like a big hoof.
Yeah.
And then inside of that, if you peel the cover of it and you boil the inside of it, it becomes this kind of foamy material, and it's been used for drying stuff for centuries. They use it for wounds to collect blood, but also they found it on a mummy somewhere in the north that had it on them. So they think they would use it to actually carry fire around, because it's also a tinder that you can use to light fires.
Yeah.
So for the patches, they're made of that, and if you put your flies in there and you just squeeze it in between, it just makes your fly instantly completely dry, so you can just fish it right away. So we have that in that product, but we also put them in our fly boxes. So when you put your flies in there, it sucks the water out of the materials of your fly, so it keeps your fly dries.
What? This is crazy. How come I never knew this? Okay, so there's this mushroom that looks like a hoof, and it grows on birch trees, and you peel the outer layer, and inside is what? Is it like a white? Like, what color is the substance? I'm assuming it's white because the mushrooms are white. So yeah, and then the
outside is white, but the inside is kind of a brown beige color kind of thing. It's just a layer on the inside that we use to make the emadu. Yeah.
And then do you scrape it out like a pulp?
It's really like you have to cut it off. It's really hard, and after you boil it, it becomes really like a felt.
Oh my god, cool! So because it's felt, is this like commercially like sold, or is it something that you guys are harvesting in between leather making and like what?
So that's funny you asked. When I started making the fly boxes and heard about this material, I couldn't find it anywhere to buy it, so I actually was making it myself for the first year. So I would go around the forest and looking for these things, and then cut them apart and make the whole thing, which was a great experience, but also not viable if I wanted to expand. So I actually found someone. It's still a family business, but they're based in Eastern Europe, and they make hats made of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm actually able to buy directly from them the emadu itself. So they process the mushroom, and then I take the emadu and then make it into products over here.
How, I think my first question is like when you Google that and you're trying to find like distributors and suppliers, like how long did it take for you just to find a distributor on that product?
It took me a while. It took me a while. But I'm not the only one using it. If you just type dry fly patch online, you'll see Loon has one, and there's a few other companies that also have them. So it's not like a secret material that is coming out of nowhere. It's kind of an old material that was forgotten about that I'm trying to bring back.
Good on you, man. That's awesome that you're bringing back and it's a renewable resource, right? I mean, totally renewable resource. Super organic. Between that and the leather, I mean, boom, 100% decomposable. Not going to hurt anything. I mean, I have a friend who makes a joke that I could, if you get lost while fishing, you can actually eat your box. Oh, there you are, right? Can you?
Yeah, you could. I don't know how good it would be, but you could.
Hilarious. I love it. So, wow, super cool. So is that getting back to the podcast here and circling to questions, is that a mission for Timber and Fins to be sustainable like that, to preserve our environment, to preserve the waters? Those are all steps towards, preservation and taking for what we have, not for granted. So is that part of your goal as a company?
100%. It's one of the pillars of our company, and everything is based on that. So, I mean, it's how we also make something different than what's out there. Mm-hmm. When we talk about fly boxes, there's, so many fly boxes company, and some of them are very successful and have great products. But we do something different in that way, where we don't use plastic, and we try to do everything to be sustainable and eco-friendly. So that's kind of a big part of our core of the company.
What are some other parts of your company that we should be aware of?
What other part? For me, the three big pillars for us is that we make products that are durable. So again, I said it earlier, but for me, it's important that we make something that you can actually give to your kids later. And we do a lot of customization, so people get, their initials or their last name printed on our products or engraved on our products. So for me, that's a really important thing. I've had so many fly boxes and products that after one season I have to throw out, and that's something I'm really against. So that's one big thing. The other part we just talked about is, being eco-friendly and making sure we use natural products. And then the third part is, my design side comes out, and I want to make sure that our products look beautiful. So that's our third big pillar of the company.
Well, I think you're hitting all three of those marks, man. That's for sure. You guys are, definitely on that. For sure. Definitely good goals, good pillars to have. And you guys are a small business, like you mentioned. 2 years in the running. What is the feedback that you're getting as a small business owner? What's the feedback that the industry, the fly fishing industry, and consumers and purchasers of your products are saying about your products?
Right. I mean, honestly, I've been amazed by all the support we've received from the beginning, from both the industry and the people in it. We talk about a lot of times about like people not wanting to share which fly they're using or which spot they're going to, but I've kind of had the opposite experience where everybody I've asked questions or approached were open to help out and really just share. So I haven't felt like people didn't want to share information because they felt that was competition or anything like that. The opposite, actually. So it's been really great, and I feel like it's been really welcome in the community. So that's been great. And then when it comes to client, I mean, I feel very lucky to have those clients, and I try to make sure that our products are up to all their standards. And so we've been getting great feedback, and in the last year we've been growing fairly quickly. So looking forward to the next couple of years.
Awesome. And when we talk about looking forward and going in the future, what are some of what's next for you and what's coming up in the future that you can share with us on the show? But before you do that, I do have to give a shout out to one of our show sponsors. So this podcast episode is sponsored by River Rat Rafts. Looking for a quality, affordable, inflatable boat this season? Then look at River Rat Rafts. It's no surprise that River Rat is known for their stronger build, better frame, and quick setup, as well as portability. See for yourself at riverratfishing.com. That's riverratfishing.com. Try the difference with River Rat Rafts. Okay, David, we're back.
Yes.
No worries. So I was just asking you where the direction of Timber and Fins is going for 21.
Yeah, so I guess in the short term, we've got a few new products coming up. On the apparel side, we have these rain jackets that I'm super excited about, and some toques coming in, so stay tuned for that. And in terms of products, like I mentioned earlier, I'm working on getting some tools, some fly tying tools here, and making a few more fly tying tool wallets, maybe with the possibility of carrying your vise around and things like that. So, and then for the more long term, I'm hoping to expand the team a little bit and get some help making the products and get some people in the shop. And my favorite part about the business is actually research and development and creating new products. So I'd love to focus more on that and create more things. So that's kind of the plan for now, and hopefully we can get there.
Massive plans, my friend. Let's talk about the research and development. Let's start off with talking about, you mentioned tools and a vise and a portability on that of being able to transport your tools, which I know for us, when we go into our lodge programs and we're always traveling around, doing that, we bring our tools with us, and I mean they're strewn about often. Sometimes they're organized, depending on who the tire is for that program. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, do you think that's the direction, the portability, or like, do you think that's like having that like a role? I'm assuming like, what I'm assuming is like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just trying to picture, a chef has the knives and they roll them all up.
Yeah.
Is that what you're kind of doing with the tools?
Yeah, basically right now the model that we have, It's actually, so a lot of the products I've been creating lately are actually clients that are coming to me and asking me to create something they can't find. So the first tool wallet I created was for one of our ambassador, Ryan Taylor, who actually ties in hand. And he wanted just a thing to set his minimal tool and have a place to set his fly between settings. And so we created that one. But the new ones that I have in mind for the future are a bit more elaborate. So because he has a minimum tool, but yeah, like I was saying, somewhere where you could have your vice and carry it around, but a roll could work. But the one I'm working on right now is actually a bifold. But a roll is also in the pipe for maybe the future.
Cool, love it. Super cool. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what you got, and when you do, I'm going to have to reach out to you and get our tying team, which Ryan is on, some of those new tool carriers. So for sure, yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And then also you mentioned going forward about the apparel. So like what? Like what's going on with that? Like, where do you want to go with the apparel? Like, the leather stuff is doing extremely well. Where do you, like, how are you positioning yourself with the apparel? I know there's a ton of new companies out there that are in the apparel, market and stuff like that. How are you gaining market share on that? Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's really important to just stick with how we focus on the brand with all our products, which for me, again, is like high quality, eco-friendly. So that's kind of the direction we're going with our apparel as well. So we're trying to get the best stuff that we can get, even if it's a little bit higher price and maybe lower margin. We want to make sure that the products that the anglers are getting is quality and they're going to be happy with it. So high quality, great stuff that you're going to have for a while and that you're going to love is what we're aiming for.
And fun designs, no doubt.
For sure, yes. Always with the designs, for sure.
Well, that's what you like, right? So
yeah, it's definitely part of my personality, so it's going to show in the company.
Do you bring any like Canadiana into like the apparel side of things, or no?
Like in the design, or you mean in the making?
Into the logos or the design? Is there any like Canadian, like, you know what I mean? Like, is that any Canadian roots or any? I'm going to call it Canadiana. I don't even know if that's a word. Yeah. But is there any of that?
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
So far, not really. We've been working with a couple different artists, but also working on kind of very minimalist designs that are not necessarily Canadian related, but more fishing related. But I'm hoping that every year we can kind of come up with a different concept and maybe have different types of design. So that might be coming later. Yeah.
Let's hope so. It'd be kind of cool to see where you guys go with that for sure. I think the last thing that I wanted to really spend a bit more time on and talk about is the tools that you mentioned. And, that's really cool. Fly tying tools. And I can clearly see that the brand is like doubling down on like the whole fly tying thing, with the tools and with the accessories and the wallets and all that sort of stuff. So what's going on with the tools? Are you like forging tools now, or like, you know what I mean?
I don't want to say too much about the tools because they're not here yet, but I'm working with someone who's making them for me.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that we're pleased with the quality and all that. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for before I can pull the trigger on these. But we're going to have all the basic tools, basically scissors, bobbins, bodkins, all that you would need. And so we'll have the option of buying just the wallet or the wallet with the tools, or just the tool separately is what we're aiming at.
Super cool. Definitely. You can clearly see the trajectory, again, another hard word from here, that you guys are clearly on. And, I can, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you guys are really invested in the fly tying thing. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say that maybe, 50% of our clients are fly tyers. So, I think it's a great niche to be part of, and the people that are in it are very passionate about this stuff. So, and like to have quality things. So I think it kind of works.
Awesome. So, what are some of the ways that you're growing your brand and you're getting your brand out there to, to newer markets and, to try and push the products that you're creating? You got awesome stuff. I mean, how are you guys getting out there? What are some marketing ways?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram has definitely been our main source of putting our stuff out there. And we're also doing some advertising. And so we've been in a few magazines and, also just advertising on Instagram and Facebook. So that's kind of how we're trying to get in there. And then we also started the ambassador program a few months ago. So we're building on that and trying to grow our community and have more people be part of it. So that's how we've been doing that so far.
Let's talk about the ambassador program. What can you educate us on about that?
Yeah. I mean, we started, like I said, about 6 months ago. So, I mean, it was just important for us to get our products to people and have people that we can share our new products to test out, but also to share with their friends and family and just have a bigger reach. So we started doing that. And one thing we haven't talked about much is the fact of, just fly fishing in general has been seen a bit like as a old sport, maybe for, white old guys, and that's something that we're trying to change as well.
Same with us.
I have a 5-year-old daughter who's interested in fly fishing, and I'd love for her to be able to jump in and feel welcome and all that. So that's a thing that we're striving for, and we'd love to support just the differences and things like that. So it was important for us for that to be respected in our ambassador program. So right now we have guys, we have girls, we have people of all ages and different races. So that's really important for us in the ambassador program, but also in our advertising. So that's something that we try to do our best at, for sure.
Absolutely. We 100% get behind that. I mean, that's part of my mission as well, is to grow the sport and, make it very inclusive of everybody, and every, every walk of life. So for sure. Really good on you guys for that. What are some other ways that you're giving back to the community or making sure that the sport is growing and that you guys are, good conservert. I can't even say it. I'm tongue-tied today. Yeah. Good stewards.
Yeah. I mean, our goal is to teach people about conservation. And I'd love to be able, right now, I mean, we said I'm still a small company, but ideally in the future would be to team up with different organization and actually, directly give money and help out with different projects. So right now, we're teaching the people that we can and talking about giving back. Like I was saying earlier, I've been welcomed to the community so well that now, anybody that has any questions and any listener that wants to reach out as well, I'd be happy to talk about anything, our products, how we work, or anything like that. So
awesome. Yeah, definitely. Big part of who you guys are is giving that education to other people, for sure. I can attest to that. So, I do want to, I mean, we can keep it nice and short here. And basically, you mentioned what's coming up. You mentioned what's next. You mentioned where you guys are going in the direction. Is there anything that you that you want to get or solidify with the listeners from, that I might not have touched base on?
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered most of it. Like I just said, we're really open to talking to people. So if you have ideas, if you're looking for a product that you don't see on our website, feel free to reach out, and we can make it for you. So and we're really open to new ideas. So just feel free to reach out.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, where can they reach out to? Where can they find you at? Where can they ask questions? Or better yet, where can people buy products from?
Yeah, so most of our online presence is on Instagram. So if you want to follow us, it's our name is at Timber and Fins, just together. We also have a website, www.timberandfins.com, where there's an option for a chat there, and actually goes straight to my phone, so you can reach me there as well. And we have a Facebook group if you just or a Facebook page if you just search Timber and Fins on Facebook, you'll find us there as well.
Awesome. I'm going to make sure I put all those details within the show notes. And I know me and you have teamed up actually for this month, and we have a giveaway that we're going to be offering. So that we're running, and you guys are one of our small business features of the month. So we're definitely going to, again, to make the industry grow and whatnot. So you guys are generously, you have a nice, awesome prize there that someone can win, a Timber and Fin item. And I know Ryan Taylor is also involved with that. So I'm sure there's going to be some amazing flies involved. It's somehow. Mm-hmm. I know Ryan ties some pretty nice flies. I'm super excited about that. How about you?
I'm super stoked. We're going to get this wallet ready for you guys, and it's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, all right, David, hey, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Timber and Fins. Anything you ever need, we're here. And listeners, definitely want to thank you guys as well. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
No worries. You've been listening to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, tell us by liking this episode and subscribing to the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Fly Fishing Insider Podcast. See you next week.